Hello guys, today very quickly I'm gonna pretend that I wanna contribute to an open source software project, especially ZF2 project. So I will start by logging in to my GitHub account. Okay, I'm in. So now let's start working. Let's find an interesting project. This is the first thing to do in GitHub. Eventually, let me show you what I have in my account. So I have only one clone, FMI. Gonna find something else interesting. I have another account which I'm using as a professor. So I will pretend that this is a student. I'm currently a student. I'm gonna fork the repository from my professor. This is the repository which I'm interested in. Okay, so I'm gonna click fork here. And in a few seconds the repository will be forked. Other ingredients in our recipe are Cloud9 IDE. This is what I'm gonna use as an IDE, and as a deployment I'm gonna use Zen Developer Cloud PHP Cloud. Okay, so I have the clone in my repository now in my space. Notice here is not Wingman 007 anymore, it's cool CSN. This is the student area. So let's log in using GitHub. I don't have to enter my credentials. If for first time you're logging in, you will be asked by GitHub, are you agree to allow this application Cloud9 to read part of the information given by GitHub, this OpenID technology. Okay, so here we go. This is my application, forked application in GitHub. I just want to show you something else. Make sure that GitHub is active. If it's not active, activate it. You have to provide your credentials eventually if you don't use OpenID. In this case, you will be able to see all your repositories in GitHub. All you have to do now is just clone to edit. We're starting editing this application, actually the fork of this application. So clone to edit. Yeah. Source URL. Yeah. Our application is in GitHub. Open and discoverable. Yes, I'm not allowed to create private anyway because this is a free account. Create. And the application, as you can see, has been created. Now we can start editing. Click on the start editing. The application opens up. Okay, so we have the application forked in GitHub, and after that cloned in Cloud9 and open for us, which allows us to edit the application. Now, first, when we edit the application, we want to see what's going on. If we run here the application, only this folder will be exposed. Of course we can do that, but as I said, my goal is just to show you how to deploy it on Zen Developer Cloud. So I'm gonna go to Zen, log in there. And create a new application. I'm choosing Zen Framework 2 since the project which I just cloned is a Zen Framework 2. Deploy application. I'm gonna give it a name. for example, Cloud9 contribute. This is what I'm gonna give as a path as well, and I'm gonna deploy this application. We're gonna use Git to push the application to the development stack here in the PHP Cloud, and get pull push in our Cloud9, which is our integrated development environment. Okay, so we have it. Now it's time to see where the URL is. Here it is, our application. But before we do that, let's allow the Cloud9 and the Zend to communicate. This is done through entering the public key, which we can copy from Cloud9. So you click here on show your SSH key, click copy. After that, create a file somewhere in your hard drive. For example, new text document, open and paste the key. Save it and rename the file. I already have done that, so my public key is in this file, public. I'm gonna do it right now. Okay, now go to to Zend, PHP Cloud, click on access keys as we did, and say choose a file. Select the file, open it and upload. It's gonna warn you that all previous keys will not be available anymore. Yeah, we agree with that. And here we go, we're done. Your RSA public key has been imported successfully. Now Cloud9 and our Zend can freely communicate. The next thing is to add the address of the remote repository from Zend PHP Cloud to our IDE. Cloud contribute, I'm gonna copy and paste it here in the notepad because I have to type it. I cannot paste it unfortunately in the terminal window of Cloud9, so I have to look at from somewhere as a helper. The next thing to do is hit this button here, oops, sorry, to open a terminal window. Yeah, here this is what I like the most about Cloud9. I have a terminal window, so I can use all Linux commands. Let's look at where we are. Here we go. We're in this folder. Yeah. Okay. So let's see how many repositories do we have actually remote. So far we have only one. It's called origin. I typed git remote and I get origin. Now let's add another one, which is called, I would call it Zend. Git remote add Zend. Now I have to type the address which I copied, SSH. I'll make sure later that I didn't make any mistakes. I think it was called project. Git. Okay, let me look at Git projects. Git projects. Cloud9 contribute.git. Oop, here another mistake. Instead of dot I typed comma. Yeah, SSH of course, not SSA. SSH, yeah, column wingman my PHP cloud com / Git project. It reminds me a little bit old days when with the modem we used to connect to the terminal window and work there, compile our programs. So we came to the back again to the same position, almost the same. Of course, the internet is much faster right now. So the evolution actually is a spiral. You always get to the same point, but on another level. So Cloud9 contribute Git. Cloud9 contribute the Git. Yeah, hopefully everything is correct. Sorry about the delay. Let's see now. Git remote, Zen and origin. Yeah, we have everything now. What we are gonna do now is let me first make sure that I have added and committed everything. Git add everything, git commit -m just for any case. Okay, on branch, nothing to commit. That's very good. Okay, so let's fetch first, and after that merge to see if there are conflicts. So I'm gonna do git fetch Zend. No common commits. Counting object 277 down. Then okay, now we're gonna do merge. Git merge Zend master. Okay, let's look at the conflicts. Let's take a look close. Auto merging public htaccess and the readme md. Okay, so we have to resolve these conflicts. Public conflict at, here we go. Okay, so readme I'm gonna edit from the environment, and the htaccess I'm gonna edit with the v to show you how to use v here. Actually I can do both, but on the console, but I want to show you how to do it here. So readme md, here we see the conflicts. I'm going to remove this, and I'm going to remove this. This has been added by Git just because I want to keep these comments, so I'm going to remove all this and the head. I'm going to save this. So readme conflict solved. I'm going to change the directory to public. Let me zoom in so everybody can see it. I have changed the directory to public, and I'm gonna call v. Actually, let me show you the files there. Here we go. Here we have a conflict, htaccess, and I'm gonna show you something and explain how to fix this problem. So actually this file htaccess always is gonna create us always is gonna give us problems, so we're gonna remove it from the repository. We don't want Git actually to track the changes, because for each student this htaccess will be different on the Zen PHP Cloud development stack. So let me first resolve the conflict with v to show you how to use v on Cloud9, and after that I'm gonna remove it from the repository. So I'm gonna do v htaccess. Okay, here they are the problems. Again, head, rewrite base. Notice this, Cloud Zen Framework 2. This is the rewrite base for the professor, and this is our actual rewrite base, which is gonna work for us right now. For me, I'm pretending that I'm a student. So those are the conflicts. I just got this from Git repository because the professor didn't remove it and he uploaded the htaccess, but this is actually what I need. So if I have to resolve it, I have to remove. I'm pressing insert right now to enter an insert mode. You see the insert down, and I'm starting to remove what I don't need. Actually, I don't need any of these 3 rows. Sorry, I'm gonna do it character by character. I don't want to risk with the shortcuts here. Okay, I'm pressing backspace now. Okay, so I'm pressing escape. After that, column and W right. Column Q. And I quit. Now, we actually don't want, as I said, htaccess to be sent back to the server. So I'm gonna do git remove, and I'm gonna remove htaccess. So I'm gonna say git. Maybe it's gonna allow me. If I wanna force it, I'm gonna put an option F. Let me try without htaccess. Let me see if I still have this file here. No, it's missing. It's not there anymore. See, it is not after CSS, it's missing. So hopefully Git removes it from the index and from the file system. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go to the root of the project and I'm gonna add everything else. I'm gonna add the merged readme md. So I'm gonna say git add dot, which means add everything. After that I'm gonna do git commit, and my message will be merging and resolving the conflicts. Okay, so let me push back to Zend and let's see what happens. First, let's make sure that the cloud contribute works. Yeah, it works. Let's make sure that we didn't break anything. Git push, and we will say Zend. Okay, we're pushing back. Okay, data compression user, counting objects 29. Okay, so it has been deployed to the cloud. Let's make sure that it still works. Yes, I'm gonna show you something. Before, in this brand new project which we created in Zend PHP Cloud, we didn't have any files, extra files from the repository which we downloaded from GitHub. We have one extra file. This file didn't exist in the PHP Cloud, in Zend PHP Cloud. So let's make sure that this file is on the cloud. Contribute, and I'm gonna type here php info.php. Let's see what happens. Yep, here it is, our file. We even can add more files just to make sure that it's us. Okay, we don't have too much time, so I'm not gonna do that, but I'm gonna show you the PHP info file. Okay, so this PHP info file came from the fork on GitHub. Let's push it back to the fork. So let's do this. Git push origin. This is our remote repository representing GitHub. Okay. Okay. Everything successfully pushed. We can go to GitHub now, refresh, and open README to see how it looks now. Yeah, Cloud 9. We didn't look at before, so we won't see any difference. But I can change something. For example, let me change PHP info. Let's show it in the Cloud 9 in the public folder. I'm gonna show PHP info. This is only the content, just to prove that yes, we are editing this file. I'm gonna put here echo pseudo function, echo hello world from a student, back h1, semicolon, save, and after that we have to do, of course, add, commit, push both to GitHub and to Zend application PHP cloud to make sure that everything is right. Okay, go to the console. Now after saving we say git add everything again. Let me make sure I'm in the right folder. Yeah, not in public. Git add dot git commit -m. I made some changes in PHP info dot PHP. Okay. It says two files changed. We'll see that. And I'm gonna say git push. Let's first check before we commit to our fork. Push Zend. After each change, actually, we have to check what we have done by going there and calling the file which we're interested in, php info.php. Okay, let's look at that again. Here we go. Hello world from a student. This is what we added to our PHP info, and we see it on the deployment server. Actually, this is our development server because the developers are using it. And now let's push it back to GitHub. This is what it is currently on the GitHub. Now I'm gonna push there, git push, and I'm pushing to origin. That's GitHub. Make sure. Press enter. It takes a little bit longer. Okay, the changes have been pushed here. So let's refresh. Yeah, we see it. Hello world from the student, from a student. Now let's send a pull request to our professor. We'll say, please merge my changes to the upstream. I'm gonna copy and paste the same, not to waste time. send pull request, and I'm gonna log in as a professor, see the pull request, merge it to the upstream, and after that I'm gonna change my hats again. I'm gonna pretend that I'm a student, and I have to pull from the original repository from the upstream. Okay, so that's done for now. Let's log out here in Cloud9. Let's assume that the student has finished his job. He was working all day long and he has committed everything to his fork, and he sent a pull request to his professor. Now the professor, or whoever is responsible for the project, the project owner, should consider the pull requests and decide to merge or not to merge to the upstream. Okay, so file, quit Cloud IDE. I'm logging out as a student. Let's sign out from here as well, just for any case. I don't have to sign out from Zend. Okay, sign out from this repository. Going to the repository of the professor right now to merge the changes. Okay, let me show you. I'm logging now. Okay, so this is the owner of the repository. He goes there, and this is the repository, Cloud9 Zend Framework 2. And here we go. We have a push request. Please merge my changes to the upstream. Okay, let's look at the changes. Let's see if we can do it automatically. Yeah, the merge can be done automatically. There are no conflicts. So I'm gonna put a comment. This is the owner of the project. I pretend that I'm an owner. I log it in GitHub as an owner, and I will say yes, I'm merging your changes. Comment, and I'm merging the pull request. Yes, I'm merging. This is what I'm gonna put again. Confirm merge, and that's it. So the upstream is up to date right now. Now that's done from the owner of the project. Eventually he has merged more pull requests in the upstream, and the upstream looks totally different. Now when on the next morning our student or contributor to the open source software project starts working, he has to get all these changes which happened in the upstream, if he wants to stay up to date, of course. If he wants to keep his own development branch, if we want to call it this way, or fork, and he doesn't care about the changes in the upstream, he doesn't have to do that. That's optional. But let's assume that he wants to stay up to date and continue working together with everybody else until he gets the permissions to upload, actually to push directly to the upstream, because this also happens, but it requires a little bit time to gain trust, and after that he probably will be able to push directly in the upstream. So we're in the earlier stage when we have to keep our fork not being able to push directly to the remote repository, to the original repository. So let me log in as a contributor or student. It's a long password. Again, I have to type it. Hopefully I type it correctly. Yes, everything is fine. Let's go to the repository to see our contributor. What does he see right now? Repositories. Yeah, here it is. Our Cloud9 fork. Now, let's log into our IDE, and we are gonna add the upstream as another remote repository from which we will pull, because we don't have a rights to push. This repository is only for pulling. So I'm logging. I'll see my project there. Yeah, I don't want right now. So Cloud9 Zen Framework, this is the name of the project. Start editing. I'm gonna call again the terminal just to make sure how many remote repositories do we have, and see how it looks. Okay, let's look at now. So git remote, yes, our origin and Zend. Now all we have to do is just add the URL as a remote repository, add the URL of the upstream, and we are going to call it upstream. Let's go to the original repository, which I remember was owned by Wingman 007, and copy the URL because I have to type it. Yeah, this is the original repository, and our smart git is showing us only git read only. So this is what I'm gonna enter as a remote repository this time. Going back to my Cloud IDE, and I will type git remote at upstream. Okay, git github.com. The owner is Wingman 007, and Cloud9 Zen Framework to Git. 9 Zen Framework to .git. Okay, so let me make sure that everything is correctly typed. Git remote at upstream, github.com, Wingman 007, Cloud9, Zen Framework 2. It looks correct. Okay, let's see now. Git remote. Yep. We have 3 repositories now. Origin, which is our GitHub. Upstream, which is again GitHub, but the upstream. And Zend, where is the Git of our development stack. Where is our development stack? So before I do anything else, let me first, just for in case, do again git add git commit -m, just for any case. Nothing to commit, working directory clean. Okay, now let's pull it from the upstream. Of course, there are no changes right now. Part of us, nothing else has been changed, but not us, of course. A part of our file, nothing else has been changed. So let's see. Git fetch first, just to make sure there are no conflicts. Git fetch upstream. Okay, remote, and now let's merge it. Git merge. We'll say upstream master, because we're in the master. Update, fast forward. No indication for conflicts. Let me zoom it. No files has been indicated as conflict, so eventually, if this was a real case, we could have some conflicts which we have to resolve. After that we have to add, commit and push to our fork and to our deployment server. In this case this is development server, PHP Cloud. So after merging we always have to do add, commit, and after that we'll do push to the repositories which we have push rights. That's our fork on the project and to our PHP Cloud. Okay, so I'm gonna do add, I'm gonna do git add everything, git commit -m after pulling from upstream, just to have the last versions of everything. Your branch is ahead of origin master by 1 commit, nothing to commit. Okay, so then we will say yeah, we're really ahead of the upstream. Let me try git push origin. We're pushing now to our GitHub fork. And after that we'll put a push again to Zend. First, yeah, let me make sure that in public we don't have htaccess.htaccess file. No, we don't, because we remove it from the index in the Git. And here, okay, so we are gonna do git push Zend to our PHP Cloud. Okay, let's make sure that we didn't break anything. Yeah, the application works. Let's call php info.php to make sure that our own file is correct and everything is right. So that's it. Let me just summarize a little bit. We forked the project in our own repository, in our own space in GitHub. After that we used Cloud 9 to work on this fork. Actually the fork has been cloned in Cloud 9. After that we created a project, Zend Framework 2 project in PHP Cloud, and we pull it from this project to our current project. There were some conflicts which we resolved. After that we were pushing back to Zend, where is our development server, and we were checking our development, how it goes, and by the end of the day, or when we want, we were pushing to our fork. When we finish with our own development, we went to GitHub and ask for pushed pull request, asking the owner of the original project to merge our changes to the upstream, to the original project. I showed how the owner of the original project merged everything. On the next day, or a little bit later, when we want to get up to date with the original project, we added as a remote repository upstream the original project. We don't have permissions to push there, but we have been able to pull all the changes, not on only ours, but every change made on the original repository to stay up to date. After that we could do some other changes and push to Zend to see the changes, how it works, push back to our fork, and eventually send another pull request to the owner of the project, and so on and so forth. The cycle closes this way. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you for your attention. Hopefully that is gonna be helpful for somebody else.